Hello and welcome. I am NBG and welcome to Fresh 60 Fresh Server, where I show you how to make your first million gold. We've done pretty darn well on this character, and today we're just going to get right after it. We're going to go through our normal rotation of what we do to start a day. I'll talk about kind of how the week went, as I've only been able to post on the weekends right now, and we're just going to get after it. And I do think we're going to do one farm that I've never tried before as well. So, let's get started. I always start with my tables and see how much I get. Let's see here. I got a bit of gold from that, nearly 1,000. I'm telling you, man, these tables, so good, especially if you have, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 16 characters like I do. It can really make a big difference. Again, I'll say it again, but my tables on the 15 characters on my main server, I really do net 8 to 10,000 each time that I do it, and I do it twice a day. I do it when I get home from work, get around 7 to 10,000, do it again before I go to bed for about 7 to 10,000 about 5 hours later, and yeah, that pays for a token in itself. Taking a look at token prices real quick. In the US, as I've stated here for a while on the channel, prices are rising, and I think they're still going to. You have you have Wrath of the Lich King coming out soon. That's causing the prices to increase. You have people trying to buy in to get into the beta for Call of Duty. Another month after this, you're potentially going to have pre-patch. You also have Call of Duty actually coming out. There's a lot of things happening over the next few months. I think we're going to see this price get up to about 280,000, I think, when it's time for the game to actually launch. I think it's going to sit there for a while, as long as it's popular and as long as the game is doing well. So again, if you're going to be buying tokens, the price goes up and down during the day, right? So you kind of see what the low is. That's usually what I do, and kind of have an idea of where the low gets to, and then just pay attention to it. When it gets anywhere near that, you kind of just need to buy and get in. I talked about it last week. I ended up buying I don't know. I spent like 2.5, 3 million gold or something on tokens just to get it all done. So I'm pretty low on gold at the moment. Well, low as in, oh look, sneak peek. We'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, buy your tokens. Alright, so into the mailbox. Let's go ahead and look at this. Let's gather all expired. I'll have to go put these up. We did pretty well this week. There's like nothing in the mailbox from yesterday. That's something else I wanted to talk about. We actually did really well this week. We sold all those legendaries. I haven't made new. I probably should. The profits are there. I just don't know how much I want to sit around trying to sell legendaries. But I honestly probably will on this server. It really is the best thing we can do. Looking at our expiring calling, looks like we're going to have to do Ardenwield. I think I did one quest already on accident. But regardless, we're going to do that. But let's go ahead and go post on the auction house and take a look and see if we're going to do any crafting. Alright, all that stuff has been reposted. Let's go ahead and take a look at our restock and see what it has to say. I'm not going to be making any of this blue gear. I'm really weary of making a lot of things right now. I really feel the game dying down as people are getting ready for both Wrath of the Lich King as well as the expansion. So I do want to be a little bit careful on what I craft and post. Desolate, I have finally sold out on all that stuff on this server. I did see that there was definitely some profit in partings over the last few days. I've seen it a couple times. And that's something you should watch as well, depending on what you're doing. Some things that really have not had profits for a few weeks now, since 9.2.7, I'm starting to see some things crop up, whether that's enchants, whether that's this, whether that's I had some gems pop up with some decent crafting, decent profits. So just pay attention, I guess. Pay attention to the different professions that you know well, and see. Look, it's even showing that there's decent profit here on Drums of Ferocity. I'm not a big proponent in crafting something with 2 to 3 gold profit with everything that you have to pump in to get it. So I don't think I'm gonna craft drums at 3.84. just because it leaves you very little room to where if the price fluctuates, all of a sudden you're losing money on it. Something 17 gold profit, yeah, I'll craft that, no problem. So I think we're going to do that. Let's take a look at the legendaries. I'm not going to craft anything that's not 291, so let's take a look at those and see what we're working with. Waste guard at 12k profit, I'll craft that. 16, 19. Yes, I'm going to craft these again and post these again. You know, a couple of them took most of the week to sell, but like in last week's episode, I crafted and reposted those, and I think 3 of them sold that day. I had a mailbox of like 95k the next day. That's something I unfortunately didn't talk about at the beginning of this video because my thoughts are kind of everywhere. But if you look at our gold, that's a lot higher than last week. We actually did pretty well over the week, even though I didn't really try too much other than those initial legendaries that I crafted at the end of last week's episode. But that knocks us up to at least, you know, like 578,000 on this character. Our thread flipper, which we'll get to in a minute, has a little bit of gold on him, but he also has stuff on the auction house, so if that sells, that thread flipper is probably near 40k on it as well. So we're doing pretty well, and we don't really have to try too hard to hit 1 million. It's a matter of how much effort I want to put in. Today I do think I'm going to do an hour farm just to help us inch that direction, but I do think I'm going to do all of these crafts first and get all of this stuff posted. So for today's crafting, it looks like about a little over 22. Yeah, that's about right. A little over 22,000 gold is what it said. I'm pretty sure I spent less than that. I'm pretty sure I spent like 18 or something like that. But with about 52,000 in profit, obviously almost all of that's coming from these legendaries if they do sell, which I sold them last week without much of an issue. Some of them took a little while, but again, I wasn't exactly aggressive on trying to sell everything. I didn't really have time during the week. I would kind of come home and cancel scan, post them back up, and I would do it again before I went to bed. Most all of them were selling like later in the evening, just because I feel like a lot of other people who are crafting right now, a lot of people have given up on it because I mean, the profits were so bad for a while. Even on this server, I mean, the profits on this stuff went down to like, you know, 1,500. I didn't craft them for like 2 weeks, and then now all of a sudden the markets are back up to where they all have like 12k profit again, you know? I think that's kind of been that way on a lot of medium pop type servers, to where some of these places, you know, maybe there's items specifically that just lost all profit and then they're coming back a little bit. So I feel like I have less competition than what I had a few weeks ago on crafting these items, and that has it goes a long way in helping me get them sold, right? Like that's pretty obvious. So I'm going to go ahead and craft these, and then we will probably head out and do our calling for today, and I think that calling is out in Ardenweald. Before we head out into Ardenweald and do our calling, I want to check out the thread flipper, but before that, a little call to action. Guys, we are sitting at, currently, as making this video, 489 subscribers. I'm so insanely close to 500, and I really want 500 just so I can get the community tab. That way I can better stay in contact with everybody, ask questions, ask what you guys want to see, maybe let you guys know if a video is or isn't coming, all sorts of that stuff, just so we can have more interaction and more conversation. So please help me with a subscribe, help me with a like, help me with that kind of stuff, help the algorithm, but more importantly right now is I am looking for the subscriber count to go up just a bit so that I can get that community tab, so that I can stay in better contact with you guys and help make the content you guys want to see. Again, I want to emphasize that. What I want to do isn't necessarily hit big, make money, all those kind of things. Like right now, my focus is making the content you want to see, and I want any sort of power I can have that's going to help me make stuff that you guys actually want to watch, because that's what it's about to me. It's about trying to be a good content creator. It's about trying to help you guys learn and get better. And not just that, it's to help myself too. So anyway, please subscribe if you haven't already. And if you haven't, and maybe you don't want to, let me know what I can do to get you to subscribe. So with that, let's go. So, looks like the thread yesterday did not sell, so that sucks. You lose a deposit there. What I've been doing, because it looks like a lot of other people have picked up on this. Is I've been checking the prices of both of these to make sure that the money is there. So you can buy, yeah, what is the vendor price? Is it 9? I don't think it's 9, is it? For Luminous Flux? Let's see. Well, yeah, the vendor buy price is not 5 gold for thread, so there we go. But 9.49, there's room there for making gold. It's just not insane. Let's go ahead and post those real quick. I like it higher than that if I can. But Luminous Flux at 8, how much is there? There's 4,000, so that's not going to change anytime. I think you can buy them for 720, so that definitely leaves room for making money. So with that, I'm going to get some Flux as well and put it up. And this is done really, really well. I can't remember what I just posted all that for, but this character's made like 35, 40,000 just mostly on flipping thread and Flux here and there. Again, 2,000 is kind of like the max I ever want to buy of either, just so that I don't screw myself by putting too much up on the auction house and then losing a big deposit because it doesn't sell. Kind of like yesterday, right? That 2,000 that I put up last night did not sell. That's also why I only do it for 12 hours, so the deposit cost is less. But I don't want to lose too much money if I don't have to. So here we go. Post those for 12, post that up there. And yeah, hopefully all that stuff sells. I've had pretty good luck so far. Again, I started with 5,000 gold on this character, and it has around 40 now, just from flipping those. So let's go on to the Druid and head out into Ardenweald. So at the time of me doing this, the quests out here kind of suck. Luckily, I did one yesterday that was expiring, like right before I went to bed. It was about ready to expire, and it was for gold, and it was a super quick and easy one. I think it's the one that you like get the wings and fly around and touch the things. Anyway, as a druid, you don't even have to leave your form. So, and it's like right outside of the heart of the forest. So, I ended up doing that real quick. Hey, let's see if it DCs me. Is it gonna? Haha! Look at that, guys. Does that every time. This character is the only character I have that it does not matter when I fly into Ardenweald. It DCs every single time. Does anybody else have that issue? Does anybody? I think it's ridiculous. This is the only character on my account where that happens 100% of the time. If I go to Ardenweald on this character, the damn game DCs. Anyway, I did one quest yesterday, like I was saying. I just hopefully have 2. I'm going to go kill the world boss, and I think I'll do this one, because this one's pretty quick, and I will see you guys at the end. Alright, our calling is done. Let's go ahead and turn that in. It only took a couple minutes. Quick and easy. Gonna come over here, sell everything. Get some junk out of my bag. Turn in all this anima I have lying around. Sitting at 559 right now. We spent about 18k, I think, something like that, on everything we posted. We have a good deal of money on the auction house, so that's nice. Hopefully we can get some sales over the weekend. At least that's my plan. Let's go ahead and do that, and let's talk about today's farm. So if you take the portal from your major city to Twilight Highlands, you're literally right there at the farm. I'm sure you guys have all seen it. It's this little area right here where you just run around and kill these water elementals. I'm thinking about doing this solo just because I've done so many other things solo, just to show that the gold is still okay. But this really is a good, not a good farm, but the best thing about this farm is doing it in a group. So let's see if I can find volatile, right? Unless I spelled it wrong, which I probably did, because oops, let's make a macro. Wow, if I could do something correct today. It's been a long week, guys. I am very sorry. So we're gonna, let's do that. That should work, right? Let's get 1. 1, please. No? Alright. Either way. Let's go ahead and, what if I just type in water? No? maybe I'll make my own. Let's start a group. Let's call it Volatile Water Farm. Alright, let's list the group, and if somebody joins me, great. If not, who cares? Let's go ahead and pop this potion. Obviously, the macro makes it so much easier. Being a druid makes it easier. I don't think I would invite anybody onto this farm that wasn't a druid, to be quite honest. You need to be able to go fast. Obviously, if you have a speed set, things of that nature, it's really going to help. So I end up getting a few people in the group. It took about 10 minutes, and then a few people started joining. We now have a group of 4. It took us a while to kind of get the logistics to increase the amount of loot that we were getting. But we now kind of have areas in which we're farming. So this is, basically a 5-man farm, 4-man farm. But it really is worth it in terms of just the increase in loot that you get. So again, first like 10 or so minutes was completely solo, and then there was a good 10 to 20 minutes of adding people and getting stuff figured out, and really in the last, 10 minutes, we've kind of got things settled and the farm's picking up pace now, but it still should be pretty good. So I will see you guys at the end of it. Alright, that farm is done. After I come back, I have a decent amount of tiny treasure chests. I tried not to open any as I was going. Let's just keep track of gold. It looks like I made, like 500-600 in cells to the vendor as I was out there on my mount. I'm going to open all this kind of stuff up, see how much we get, and we will calculate our gold per hour. After everything's all said and done, this is what we ended up with. It looks like we have 376 volatile waters, a little bit of volatile life, some volatile fire, some volatile earth, obviously some volatile air, a little bit of ember silk, and a little bit of ore. Not a whole lot. Let's go ahead and take a look at how much gold I'm actually going to get. Let's go ahead and post that. Let's see, about 500 gold there. I had made probably 600-700 gold in raw gold, so we'll say with this posting that'll put us at 1,000. Let's say 1,100. Let's say 1,500 to account for deposit. For the 5% take. 1,600. Let's say 1,008. 1,009. Let's say 2,300, and then the big one right here is another 5,000. Let's say 5,000. So really, this is a little under about 8,000. Let's say approximately. It was kind of a scuff farm. I could have gotten more. I definitely could have gotten more, but at those current rates, that was about 8,000 gold per hour. That's not fantastic. I don't go out and do 8,000 gold farms. That's a bit low. Usually it really has to be around 10 or more for me to want to go do it. So I would say at least at the current prices, that really probably wasn't worth the time, given that I could still just do desolate leather and do the treads and sell it to the vendor for probably nearly that. Let's see, 233. Damn, and there's a lot of them. So let's say 233 there, and 150. Holy crap, that's actually really good. Just for reference, let me bring up the calculator real quick, and let's take a look at that. So in comparison, that 8,000 gold farm, and let's plug in these numbers. How much was it? Didn't I say 2.33 and 1.5? 1.5. Let's double check those. Yeah, because there's a lot there at 1.5. There's a lot there at 2.33. And when I bring that up and I look at it, that is a little over 6,000 gold per hour just from selling at the vendor, which is obviously, 2,000 gold less than what that was. But in comparison, 6,000 gold for doing that, and then every couple minutes I can auction, cancel scan. I'm the kind of person I'd much rather do that, because if I'm staying on top of my cancel scanning, there's a chance I could, net an additional sell, especially if it's a legendary, at really good profit. So anyway, in comparison, You know, 8,000, it's really not that good, to be quite honest. Specifically because you have to work hard for 8,000 while just doing the shuffling at the vendor is not exactly work. There's like multiple minutes of looking at another monitor. Your bag fills, you sell it, you push, craft all again. So, anyway, that was today's farm. It wasn't the farm I wanted to do. I kind of had to do that one last minute. It's just the one I thought of doing. Um, Again, it was scuffed. We could have made a bit more, but honestly, that a bit more wouldn't have been insane. Let's say another 1,000 or something, like 8-9K an hour. Yeah, not fantastic. But let's go ahead and take a look. It does look, while I was out, one of the legendaries that we had crafted sold for about 12K profit, so that's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and recraft that and go ahead and get another one up on the auction house while I'm doing this, and we will go from there. With that, everything has been recrafted and posted. I did a cancel scan, everything's been reposted. Again, we're sitting pretty good, 550,000. We at least sold one legendary already, so that definitely paid for everything that I spent. I didn't spend that much. I spent like 20,000, and I'm getting at least that back. So that plus the new legendaries coming in, plus our farm, so on and so forth. It's really not going to be much of any issue to hit 1 million gold. It's just a matter of how much time I want to put in it, and I've stated this before, and it's still the case. I'm going to craft legendaries right now, I think, on this character, given that the profits are so large. But for the most part, I'm really pulling back on my main server, and I'm pulling back here. I'm getting the feeling that this expansion really is ending. People aren't spending really too much right now. Earlier in the week, as much as I've had less time, but I probably saw some of the worst sells I've ever seen on my main server. Just really not making gold right now over there. And I think there's a lot of things that go into why that is. But it's caused me, again, as I've stated, to kind of pull back into that maintenance mode where I kind of do callings on my few main characters, and I do more callings than that when they line up and there's like 2 in a zone. But for the most part, it's just doing my tables twice a day, and if I feel like it, kind of like today, go out and do a farm or something just to add a little bit extra. But other than that, it's getting closer and closer to that time where me and probably a lot of other people might pull back, take a break, play, I don't know, Wrath or whatever you feel like playing. Just do something different for a little bit, because once pre-patch gets here, this will probably be all I'm doing for quite some time. I'm still hoping that we find out more information through the PTR on what's going on for pre-patch. If there, that way I can look for any gold making opportunities. Again, my goodness, I wish I can get into beta so I could really delve deep into some of the ideas that I have going into the expansion for making good gold. There's so many things I want to talk about, but without the ability to mess with it and look at it myself, there's not a lot I can put out there other than just initial thoughts and opinions based on other content creators' videos, which is unfortunate, but I really want to get myself into beta so I can look at things myself. Kind of feels like they're still on the same track of potentially getting out a pre-patch in late October and then probably getting the expansion out early December, maybe late November, like the leak had said. Who knows? We'll have to just wait and see on that. But for now, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, make the gold that I can, and make any content that I feel is worthwhile for you guys. But this really is a weird time, and all I'm trying to do, I've essentially accomplished my goals for when I came back. I basically didn't have gold. I wanted to come back and I wanted to make enough gold to purchase the more expensive version of Dragonflight, as well as purchase the $100 version of Call of Duty. I've made more than enough gold to do that, and I still have like 2.5 million. I want to make maybe I don't know, at least one, if not like another 2 million or something before pre-patch, casually. And then after I'm sitting on at least a couple million, I will probably take a break at that point. I have, I think, at least 3 tokens for game time sitting around, plus the gold, so it's like I'm really good. I don't need to be playing, I just am to make some content, as well as just, you know, get a little bit more gold, get a little bit more comfortable. Primarily because, as I stated at the beginning of this video, things like the token price, I really do think are going to rise to that like 260 to 280,000 range, and they're gonna stay. It's gonna stay there for a while, in my opinion. I really feel that way. So buy your tokens while you can. Obviously, there'll probably be a lull between like when pre-patch is announced and when it comes out, to where prices might fall a little bit, but you're going to have things like Wrath of the Lich King and Call of Duty and other things of that nature that still will probably not allow that token price to fall too much. But anyway, with that, please comment, please like, please subscribe. If you have not subscribed yet, please let me know what I can offer so that you would. We are so close to 500 subscribers. I want to get that community tab. That way I can keep in better contact with everybody, ask questions, see, you know, maybe if I have more than one video idea, see what people say, things of that nature. I'm going to be working on that Discord server in the near future. My plan is to do Discord for 1,000 subscribers as something fun to do, but I may end up doing that early if we don't reach that before Dragonflight, which is totally fine, just because I do really want a place where we can all come together and talk about casual gold making and things that we're working on, things that we're doing, maybe our different plans or strategies going into Dragonflight, and we'll have to go from there. Other than that, I don't know what video is coming out in the next 2 days. I do plan on making a video on Call of Duty, specifically the beta, mostly because I want to take it from the perspective of like the casual dad gamer perspective of, you know, everybody who makes videos is on that, or are some sort of COD pro, you know, or or they want to be, right? And I honestly feel that the vast majority of the COD audience isn't that at all, like nowhere near, regardless of what they feel. And I kind of want to make a video discussing my thoughts about how the beta looks. I played it a bit yesterday, I'll play it more again today, I'll play it more again tomorrow before I make a video. But there's a couple things that people have been talking about and mentioning that I feel drastically different on, and I'd like to give my perception, and I'd love to know your guys' feelings about that too. So that'll be a little bit more of a filler video of just to see if people are interested in my opinion on that, or just really just to get my feelings and my thoughts off my chest, because again, it's one of those many things that I just feel differently than some of the other creators. So I would like to see what people say in the comments about how I feel about it, just because again, my perspective is that of somebody casual who just wants to come home and, you know, play a fun shooter with my kid and with my wife, and, you know, the friends that I don't have, and things of that nature. So anyway, with that, please comment, like, subscribe, let me know what I can do better, let me know what content I can make for you. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow.